Holidays are always a really busy time for people. With school activities and parties, it's really difficult to fit everything in. But I'm going to help by showing you how to make Christmas cookies. They are quick and easy to make, and they're also great gifts. Sugar cookies are a classic that everyone loves, and they're a blank canvas for decorating. I'm going to make a sugar cookie collection that are in different shapes and have icing on them. Start by preheating the oven to 325. For this recipe, you will need 2 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of unsalted butter, a cup of granulated sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a large egg. In a bowl, you should mix the flour, baking powder, and salt. Whisk these 3 ingredients together. It shouldn't take that long. Okay. In an electric mixer, cream the butter and the sugar together. Should do this on a low power. You beat it onto a low speed until it's light and fluffy. Then you add in the egg and the vanilla extract. Then you can beat it again until it's all mixed together. Ready? With the mixer on low, gradually add the flour mixture until it's completely combined. Once it's all mixed together, you're going to take a cutting board, which you're lightly going to coat with the flour, so that when you divide all of this new dough in half, it doesn't stick to the board. Cut. You take the flour, you just take a little pinch, and you're going to dust the cutting board with it. You're supposed to divide it in half, so you can just guesstimate on how much half of this dough is and put it onto the cutting boards before you flatten it. You're later going to have to put it in a plastic bag, so if you have all of the dough in one disc, it's going to be really impossible to wrap in plastic. Cut. You flatten it as much as you can by your hand, and then you take a rolling pin and roll it out. It doesn't have to be too thin, that's what you do later for, but about a ½ inch thick will do for now. Then you take saran wrap and you're going to wrap the dough in plastic. This way you can put it into the freezer. So you get it to stick to the saran wrap, and then you quickly flip it over. And you wrap it completely with the saran wrap. Then you take this piece of dough and you put it into the freezer. And you let it sit there for about 20 minutes or until it firms. Okay, you repeat the same thing for the second batch, and in about 20 minutes, I'll come back and show you what you do after. After 10 to 20 minutes, you should remove the dough discs out of the freezer. Depending on how long they were in the freezer for, you might need to let them thaw out a little bit. Then you should take some parchment paper and cover your cutting board with it. You should put the dough disc on the parchment paper and remove the saran wrap. Then put the other piece of parchment paper on top and roll out the dough to be a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch thick. Once you're done rolling out the dough, you need to also cover the baking sheet with parchment paper as well. After the baking sheet is covered, you can take all the different cookie cutters that you have and you could start cutting out your cookies. So right now I'm using a stocking and a candy cane. Very carefully remove the excess dough from around the cutout shapes. Then, using a spatula, put it onto the baking sheet that is covered with the parchment paper. Then combine the dough again, roll it out into a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch sheet again with both of the parchment paper layers, and repeat the process until all the dough is gone and you have all the shapes cut out that you want. Once you have all your cookies on the pan, you should put them in the oven and cook for about 10 to 18 minutes, depending on the thickness of your cookies, or until it's golden brown. Halfway through when you're baking them, you should rotate the pan. This way all of the cookies are evenly baked. So my cookies were done in about 15 minutes, and now it's time to take it out of the oven. You can either let the cookies cool on the tray, or using a spatula, you can put the cookies on a metal rack. You can't decorate the cookies until they're all cool. So I'll come back and show you how to decorate once they're all done. While the cookies were cooling, I used it as an opportunity to knead these icing pouches that I bought that I'm going to use to decorate the cookies. I got red, white, and green icing pouches to stick with the Christmas spirit. I'm first going to decorate this stocking cookie with red and green icing. I'm going to do the top in green. And there you go. That's my finished stocking cookie. Now you can use the white to do snowflakes on it, and you can just let the creative juices flow. I'm going to decorate the rest of my cookies basically in the same type of fashion. Happy holidays, and I hope this helps you give people great gifts this Christmas.